I must be taking your lead and not even know it. I'll be gone tomorrow morning.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Start with the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. All right, a few housekeeping matters. Emergency exits off to the side, as well as out through the vestibule area, lobby. Restrooms are in the lobby area. If you haven't done so already, please sign the attendance sheet. There's some business cards at the back. Welcome to those. Also, the proposed resolutions are back there. If you haven't done so already, please turn off or silence your cell phone so as not to disturb the meeting. And if you have any conversations that are not related to the ongoing hearing, please take it out in the hall. All right. I would declare Matt and Alexis necessarily absent. Next is approval of the August 7th, 2023 minutes. Get a chance to review. I would entertain a motion for approval.
Motion.
Thank you. A second.
I'll say.
Fred, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. All right, other housekeeping. Just a reminder, and I think both applicants are aware of this. Any kind of exhibits, if you're referring to them, whether on the screen, just do your best, use descriptive language, compass directions, structures. If there are new new exhibits, you're free to use them. Just let us know that they're new. We will mark them into the record. Let's do our very best not to talk over each other, because I appreciate that viewing the record. She knows who's talking. And on that note, if you could, please identify yourself so she knows just that, who's talking. Moving forward, our first applicant, Ann? Batten. Oh, God. Batten, okay.
Barb Batten.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well, and you?
Good. So just a quick review of the minutes back of July 17th, and if I'm not characterizing it right, let me know. A proposed pole barn, 33 by 30 forward of the main structure. You're on about 5.4 acres. Where you want to put the proposed pole barn is an old house back in the 1800s. Family?
That is correct. Yeah. It was,
The barn is to be used for vehicle storage. There's going to be minimal tree removal. There is somebody referred to it as a gentleman's farm. There's horses over there, but it is some kind of a farm area. There is a proposal for future utilities, just electric, no plumbing. We last met, it was thought that approximately 100 feet from the roadway, and we had asked for a better distance, and we also asked for some building plans. Other pieces, we'll just touch on this quickly, is the county planning board has some comments. Class 1, it isn't an ag district. That's good news for you. They asked some questions on the proposed screening and buffering. We'll get to that in a moment, as well as the visibility of the pole barn. That's where we are. If you'd like to continue and tell us more about your project, we'd love to hear it.
great. We have some more exhibits. I have two. One, we pulled down a Google Maps because I think it's easier to kind of see and talk about that distance that you were talking about. And then the best I could do at a drawing.
Okay. Perfect. Yep.
math teacher by trade, so portion stuff was
Thanks for being a teacher. All right, I'm going to mark the aerial photograph as Exhibit 1. 8. First, drawing as Exhibit 2. Doing that. All right, ready.
All right, so for the aerial view, if you have it facing, so the words are readable left to right, that portion of the picture is the north side of the picture. The top is the south side. The left-hand side is east, and the right-hand side faces west. So you can see a box in there that, a white box. It illustrates where the pole barn will be. The front of the pole barn will actually face northeast. And the 33-foot is the front distance. And going north-south, again-ish, is 30 feet. The yellow line, which is yep.
Lost me. I thought the top of the page was north.
No, the top of the page is south. Sorry. The bottom of the page is north. Yep.
That makes sense.
That makes sense now?
Go ahead.
All right, and so where that is located, as we had stated at the last meeting, is where a house was from the 1800s till about 1970, when it was taken down because it didn't have any electric or plumbing or anything, and people hadn't lived in it for 30 or 40 years. And so it's naturally clear there. You can see that there are trees around there. There are some trees that are towards the east, and then the driveway, and then there are more trees. They are black walnut locust trees in terms of the variety of trees that are there. The yellow line, we had measured from that corner to the road, and it was 100, but you had asked for that line that was for the property line, and we measured that at 82 feet. So the yellow line goes from the northeast corner to toward the road.
How long is the yellow line?
82 feet,
82?
yes.
One 100 feet to the right of way.
Yes. Correct. And then the second document submitted. Again, just trying to show the pole barn. We're looking for a very simple, rectangular, nothing fancy. Couple of doors in the front that would face that northeast direction. 12-foot high at the outside. I don't know what those are exactly called.
Eaves.
Eaves is the plan.
Do you know what the peak height will be?
The initial people that we had talked to did not give us that. Let me just double check. No, I don't believe so. My understanding is that then that average between the highest point and that 12 can only be 15. Is that correct, in order to stay within code?
Correct, so if the
That
peak's
was-
higher than 18 feet, you're gonna have to go to the planning board.
Right, so our plan is to not be any higher than 18 feet.
I understand your answer. The maximum height will be 15 feet or less.
Correct.
Is it exceeding 15 or 15 or better?
it's exceeding, or it's 15 or better, so.
So be less than 15. Right?
Yes, what is the vocabulary word for that distance that's in between the highest and the eve?
It's just that average between the eve and the
It's
peak height.
It's just nothing fancy.
Yep.
Thanks, Adam.
All set with your presentation for now? Okay.
Yep.
Questions, comments?
Well, the variance is because of pole barns in front of the house. But the house is so far away and there's so much in between, it'd be kind of hard to tell if it was or not. I noticed the county doesn't seem to care too much. And they question the vegetation. Will any be removed? Or will any be added? There isn't room to add anymore.
No.
No. Minimal trees.
I don't know if you, since the driveway comes in on an angle, not so sure you could see it from the road.
This time of year, you wouldn't be able to.
Maybe in the wintertime you could, yeah. So, I think it's a excellent application.
Leah?
The road's full of barns.
No questions.
Thank you.
All right. Susan, do we have anybody that's, no, we're good. All right. Anyone from the public want to speak for or against the application? None? All right. On the point that Fred was making, the county planning board, are you going to remove any vegetation?
Maybe like 3 trees.
Okay. As Fred pointed out in the Google map, this would be one, plenty of vegetation in there, for trees. Might be able to see the barn, maybe. But another point he made is, this is barns in that area. It is an ag district. Seems to be well placed, well thought out. Don't see any big issues with it. So we are 3. I'd like to know is, Leah, are you, if we do a little poll straw here, because we need a majority of 5 would be 3, so that means all of us have to vote for it. If there's any kind of concern, I would suggest we table it and get our other 2 members back. But what do you think, Leah?
I would vote for it. I see no issues.
Fred?
I would vote for it as well.
All right, good. Then I think we can move forward. Let's go with the proposed resolution and the criteria. The undesirable change would not be produced character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties created by of the area. Justification being that, as we heard in the meeting July 17th as well as today, it is on approximately 5.4 acres. The location that they have selected is the footprint of an old home from the 1800s. Hasn't been there for a number of years. The barn will be used for storage. They will have minimal tree removal. As the Exhibit 1 that we've presented today identifies a number of trees, densely vegetated area. There are a number of homes and area, especially across the street, where there are barns and farm areas. It is an ag district. We've determined today that it's 82 feet from the property line and 100 feet from the edge. The applicant also understands must be less than 15 feet. Anyone else like to add or edit? Second, the benefits sought by the applicant. And that real quick. What's the reason, or is there one, why you can't put it either behind the home or basically comply with the code?
So behind the house is the leach field, and it is a hill that goes like that,
That's really,
full of trees,
okay,
so.
so let's get back to the criteria. The applicant, benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to do other than an area leach field and the slope of the land in the back. Prohibitive. The requested, number 3, the requested area variance is not substantial, partly due to the distance from the pavement edge, as well as it being densely vegetated. Anyone like to add a area? Fourth, the proposed variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical and environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. We didn't hear or see anything, both the July 17th and today's meeting, as well as the comments from the county planning. Environmental conditions in the district. The alleged difficulty is self-created. Any conditions? Fred, any conditions that you want to talk about, or Leah?
No.
No?
Okay, then. With that, I would entertain a motion for approval.
Motion.
Thank you, Leah. A second?
I'll second.
Fred, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Good luck to you. Thanks for your patience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, yeah, thank you for your help.
Have a good
Appreciate
night.
it.
Very
Night.
welcome. Mark this.
Yeah.
All right, Victor Community Church. Hi there.
Good evening.
Good evening to you.
Once again, Steve Lamarco, pastor at Victor Community Church, live on Dryer Road, right here in the town. Since we last met, one of the things that we discussed was the advantage of combining the two lots. We have since began that process. It has not been completed yet, to my understanding, because we haven't been asked for the Mylar yet, but that application has been made and we're just waiting for that to happen. With that said, we have a slightly revised letter of intent, which merely at this point is asking for a front setback variance. The others are mitigated by the combination of the two lots. So Brian has those for you. He can hand those out. Once again, we're asking for the front setback variance to allow for a facade addition and you have the images that are scrolling by now on the screen, which I believe you have already as well from the previous meeting.
You're just looking for the front setback reduction from 83 to 50 feet, and then the parking lot side setback from 61 to 50?
No, that would be a
That would
front,
be the- Which one? Which is
Just-
the other one?
just the front setbacks. The area coverage would not be needed anymore. So it's really just a front setback variance.
Okay, so the revision is, instead of 4 variances, you just need the 1.
Well, it's actually 2, but both have to do with the front setback, one being the building and the other being the parking. And I don't know if you want me to go through all of the reasons that I articulated last meeting, I'm happy to do that, but I don't need to do that if it's not
I
necessary.
can do that just really quickly. You have a proposed addition that creates a safer environment for the exit and entering for the children. That seemed to be the main theme of why you are looking for that
That,
front setback.
yeah, that's one of the main reasons. The other is, quite honestly, to improve the front facade for the for the community appeal, the curb appeal, if you will.
You pointed out that I think it's O'Connell Electric has a similar variance.
Actually, the exact same variance, they went from 83 to 50, and they're literally around the corner from us. We're right on 251 and they're just around the
You
corner.
touched on, you recently purchased property to the west of approximately 5.7 acres.
Correct. And that's what's in the process of being merged so that the area coverage variance is not needed and the side setback variance is not needed.
Okay. So I'm trying to work through this. The most efficient way we can do this without putting your application in a bind. And I can promise the merger, I don't have any control over that it will happen.
Sure.
So I think the best course is to deal with the variances that are in play if that merger goes through.
Sure.
But to table the other ones so that if something doesn't go according to plan, those are still viable, instead of if you withdraw them. Because you could reapply, but that means you'd have to go through the whole application all over again. So what I'm trying to do is keep everything as much in play as we can,
Sure.
so that to keep this as efficient as we can.
You know the ins and outs better than I do. I wondered if if potentially you would suggest, well, the approvals are conditional on the combination being finalized, but again, you know the ins and outs better than I do.
I can't give you legal advice. I can suggest them. If that's the way you want to do it, we certainly can. We can table the whole thing, and
Oh, no, I'd prefer
I
not to
didn't think
table
so.
the whole thing. I'd prefer to deal with the front setbacks, and if we need to come back because there's some problem with the administrative lot line adjustment, then we can deal with those at that time, but assuming that that goes forward, then those become a non-issue.
right, so if we table the side setbacks, keep those open, and then once the merger goes through, assuming, if it does go through, then we would need simply from you that we're going to withdraw it, it's moot, don't need them.
Okay.
Is that okay with you, Adam? Sound like a plan? Yes. All right, Leah, you're good with that?
Yes.
Fred? Good. Okay, great.
Great.
So that piece is taken care of. The other, let's see. County Planning Board, did you see the notes on that? Is it Class 1?
Did not.
Okay.
Their minutes as such are not available yet online, so, oh,
Yeah, why don't you just take a quick moment instead of me rambling through that. It's about a page and a half. Let me know when you're ready and we could work through it.
good to turn. Oh, no, that's the other one. Okay, I believe we've looked at it.
Okay. So nutshell version. Any questions, then let me know, but it's a class one, and they have some, if you see on the second page.
The questions there?
Right. So class one basically means is they're just putting in some of their comments. There are other types of opinions that the county planning board lets us know that they are proposing a line. This is not what's happening here. So without going down that rabbit hole, they're just asking us to ask these questions, get them into the record. For example, the first one has to do with the mitigation, stormwater. How are you going to navigate?
I'll let
through
Brian address that as the site engineer.
Brian White, Hunt Engineers. So what we had already planned, and you can see on the map that was submitted last time, as well as in the new packet that was just given to you. So there is an existing detention pond right at the north of the existing property, and then we showed one kind of just to the northwest in that kind of open space right where the property lines combine. Roughly looking at what the existing impervious was versus what the new impervious would be, and just putting a rough estimate of what that, existing 4-bay / retention area would be. That shows you where the existing.
Right, and you're pointing to,
then-
hold on, slow down. We're going to create a little record here. So what you're pointing to is the drawing con-0.1. Agree?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the existing
I know.
addition. Yep, sorry.
Retention pond. And you want us to look at another map, or excuse me, another drawing. Okay, and that's con-1.1,
Correct.
right? And what do you want to show us?
So in the kind of northwest area, roughly, it's somewhat smaller, just because there's a little bit less impervious that would be going in. This would be grade to the northwest. That would feed into the existing detention pond area.
Okay, so with your permission, I'm going to draw what you just described. I'm going to circle this is a proposed
Correct.
storm basin area, and I'm going to draw an arrow toward the existing detention pond area. This area is a circle. I make it right or not?
Correct.
Okay. The current, call that A, and the proposed, I'm going to call it B. I made those notes on con-1.1, right?
Correct.
Okay, great.
Just with the existing grading, there may inherently just be some that goes to the existing road swale.
One second. Anna, did you see those, did you see what I was marking, or?
Yes. My only comment is that the site plan is going to require planning board approval, which they're aware of, so everything you're looking at is preliminary and may change based on the planning board and the town engineer and code review moving forward. So, in my opinion, most of the comments from the county are more applicable to planning board
Okay,
as opposed to zoning board.
and that works for me.
Yeah, this is strictly concept, so there haven't been any design calcs or anything yet.
All right. Other questions regarding tree removal? I don't know if, Adam's point, I don't think that has a lot to do with our purview. It's more planning board. Would you agree with that, Adam? Okay. And as far as ADA compliant parking spaces, again, I think that's more of a planning board issue, so we don't really have to worry about that. And you've already mentioned the progress on the adjacent property. So I think that takes care of the questions and comments from the county planning board. As far as zoning goes, as Adam's point, planning will probably take more interest in that. Are there other pieces, comments that you'd like us to know?
Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Fred, comments, questions, concerns?
Well, there's something I like about this. This will be quiet for 6 days a week, and then on Sunday it'll be busy, but the other traffic is going on Sunday. So for once, traffic is not a big talking point.
Correct.
So there must be a God to do that. Here he is, I guess.
You're good?
Yeah,
Questions,
it's a
comments,
good
concerns?
move.
I just want to clarify again, I had asked it last time, that with this new proposed plan, it's going to be in one exit, in one entrance and out the other exit, where you showed on the north, southwest corner where the old house is, that's the approximate area where the cars are going to exit.
Correct.
So it's just going to be one way, one exit's going to be one way, the other's going to be also one way in, and one is.
That would
one.
be the intention. Now, we all know that sometimes people go different directions than they're supposed to, but the intention would be that creates a good, safe flow of one being generally an in and one being generally an exit.
And then the other question is, because you're reducing the front setback, is there, because of traffic, well, it's more with traffic coming out. I'm just asking, would there be any obstructions to any vehicles on the main road? Because we know everybody drives too fast here.
Right. You're correct there. I don't believe there would be any obstructions. Nothing would be added that would obstruct the views at all.
And where the entrance currently is, there is enough sight distance for that to
Right.
be in and out. So by moving, if it is circulated to, say that exit by the existing staff house, that actually gets it closer to that curve to improve the sight distance slightly over there.
Okay, that's all I have. Both last time and this time, you really did a good job in your documents, and when you explained to provide justification, it really clarified it, so thank you for that.
Thanks.
I don't have any questions. I think you've answered them all. So let's just check and see.
Just a quick comment, Mike. I just
Great.
want to make sure you're aware there's two variances, okay? Not one. So one's for Schedule 2 height and area requirements for the building front setback. The other's for a further reduction in the parking.
Parking, correct.
It's two separate variances. They don't fall in the same part of the code,
Correct.
okay? Very good.
So is the code enforcement officer, do you prefer separate resolutions, or? We certainly can, because I think that the same criteria is, in my mind, is likely going to apply. We can do them separate, and just we'll have a mirrored.
I think you should, for your benefit, so in the future, if you ever maybe just wanted another parking reduction, it's completely separate from the resolution of the
Not
building.
tied one to the other.
That's fine.
Correct.
Yep, we can do that. Suzie, anyone from the public? All right, I will ask it in present. Anyone from the public want to speak for or against the application? All right, so let's go through. We're just going to double check. I think I know the answer. Fred, you're comfortable with the application and for approval?
Yeah.
Leah?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so let's go through the criteria, and this will be for the front setback from 83 to 50 feet. An undesirable change would not be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties created by the granting of the area variance. As discussed in the July 17th meeting, as well as today, the proposed addition creates a improvement on the facade, the current facade, and also creates a safer environment for the children that are on the grounds. I would also add that O'Connell Electric has the same variance, which is in close proximity to the applicant's property. And I would also add that they have purchased a property to the west of approximately 5.7 acres, and they are currently in the process of merging both parcels. Would anyone like to add or comment on the first criteria? Second, the benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. It was primarily discussed in the prior meeting that there were some options, but it would, both the facade wouldn't look aesthetically pleasing, as well as the children's safety would be an issue as well. Would anyone like to comment or add on the second criteria?
I put down here, configuration of structure does not allow for the addition to be in the rear because the classroom space is on the side of the building, because the rectory is in the rear. Is that the correct term I'm using, rectory?
We would just say the worship space.
Well,
but-
the worship space is in the rear, and
Correct.
it's just, there's too much, it wouldn't be feasible to do that much
Right,
renovation.
all of the current classrooms for kids and children
Are-
are right there adjacent to where the addition is going. So the flow, it just wouldn't work to put it in the back.
Well, all right. It can be done, but, is it practical, really, are your two main points where it was the children's safety and the overall facade and look of the structure would be at a detriment if you put the addition in the back.
Correct.
So that's why I worded it that way. It can be done, but children's safety wouldn't be there. It would be worse. And the facade appearance wouldn't be as pleasing as where you placed it.
Correct.
Okay? Third, the requested area variance. I'm going to submit that it's not substantial. There is a distance, 83 to 50 feet. However, the other variables, the other criteria for the first and second, I think, come into play, and I would submit that it would be not substantial. Comments, questions on the third criteria? Fourth, the proposed variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. While the County Planning Board submitted some questions regarding stormwater mitigation, the engineer gave us sufficient information as far as the stormwater mitigation solution, and from our code enforcement officer advising us that this is primarily a planning board issue. Would anyone like to add anything to the fourth criteria? Fifth, the alleged difficulty is self-created. Putting an addition on and requesting variances are self-created. All right, with that, are there any conditions, Fred or Leah, that you'd like to add or submit?
No.
Great, all right, then I would entertain a motion for approval.
Motion?
Thank you, Leah. Fred, second?
A second.
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Wonderful, all right, that's the first one. So the next one is the reduction of the front parking space setback from 61 to 50 feet. I can redo it, or I'm going to submit, if it's okay with Fred and Leah, to use the same criteria, the same justifications for what we just went through for the reduction of the front setback. Okay with that, Fred?
Yeah, there's no sense repeating it.
Oh, Leah, you okay with that?
Yes.
Great. All right, then, Fred, would you like to make that motion for approval?
I would love to make that motion,
Fred?
yeah.
Leah, would you second that?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Great. And I think it's in the record, but just for clarification, the other variances, we're going to table them. And as soon as you get that merger to go through, I know we're, Adam's trying, but it would be very helpful if you submit an email, then just waiving them and saying, we're going to withdraw them. I shouldn't say waive them, withdraw them.
Okay, simple
Turns out our-
email to the
when's our next
secretary.
meeting?
Tuesday, September 5th.
All right, just keep us in the loop. We can't have this thing go on indefinitely.
Right.
I don't know if you're going to hear news by September 5th, but we can put it on our calendar if we don't hear from you by the next meeting, which is the 19th? No.
18th.
18th.
Okay,
We're going to give you a little buzz and say,
Sure.
where are we with that?
that's fine.
All right, sound like
Simple
a plan?
email to you will suffice for that, okay?
That works.
Can I say something briefly?
If you don't undo everything.
No, I won't undo anything.
Okay.
My name's Arna Larson.
I'm sorry, just real quick, so that you're put to ease with the administrative lot line adjustment, I should be through that by the middle of next week.
Okay.
Okay. So that should
Great.
give you ample time to contact the secretary.
I wanted to say thank you for considering the variances prior to getting to full site plan, full architectural. This was really an important step for us to kind of solidify the direction that we're going with that planning. Some municipalities structure it differently, but I just want to say thank you for how you're structured, because it saves us a lot of time and money and effort if we know that the variances can be secured prior to all those details are resolved. So,
Great. You're welcome.
thank you.
Thanks for your patience.
Thanks, folks.
Nice job in your application. It's very helpful to us when it goes like that.
Have a good night.
You too.
I think this is a property, that before this was a stone cutting operation, and before that was a bulldozer repair shop. That sound familiar, Adam?
Before me, Fred.
I'm pretty sure it was.
It's before me, but I understand that at one time it was a lumberyard that had a major fire and burned down
Yeah,
back in
it
Victor's
did.
history.
That was 60s.
So,
But
before
the
my time.
bulldozer repair shop was a messy business, and that wasn't 15 years ago or so.
Great. Thanks so much. Good luck to
Better
you.
use for this than that was.
All right. Fred, anything for us? Anything else? I'm not necessarily asking you to create something.
It seemed like there was something I was going to ask you, but it's gone now, so no.
All right? Leah, Adam, our liaison isn't here, so we're good. I would entertain a motion for adjournment. Anyone?
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
All in favor.
Gary, thanks so much. Have a good evening.